y'all thought this was gonna be a lobby session? Psych! Psych! It's pop quiz, motherfuckers! Pop motherfucking quiz. Class is in session, motherfuckers. Pop quiz, motherfuckers. Class is in session. All right, today's lesson. Now, Blood brought the presentation. This your first time here? Please, this is what I do. Professor Chad in the house. Let's go. Okay. All right. Today's lesson. Tekken is a language. All right. So, how do we become fluent? That's the question. Now, some of you might be thinking, hey, yo, what do you mean Tekken is a language? I've said this story multiple times. I have recently studied I've recently been studying Chinese for the past few years. And I will say this. Tekken 7 gave me the confidence to learn a language, which might sound weird. But the reason that Tekken gave me the confidence to learn a language is because when I started playing Tekken, I started playing Tekken at a really low point in my life. I had lost a really important job. I had lost a girlfriend who was very important to me at the time. And I ended up having to move back in with my parents. So I was really just like at a very low ebb. And some of you watching this are probably at that low ebb too. By the way, it gets better. Life is like that. You have the up times, you have the bad times. Don't let the bad times get to you. But like, it was a really bad time. And Tekken 7 came out. And so I was like, man, I got nothing but time. So I was like, I'm gonna commit to Tekken. I was like, this is my life now. I need to win somewhere in my life. And Tekken is gonna be where I get that win. That was my thought process. And so I started watching all the videos I can, doing all the research I could, and essentially there was this one great Aries video where he was like, bro, it takes 2 years to get good at Tekken. He just said it straight up. 2 years to get good at Tekken. Don't think this is some like, oh, I'll get good in a couple months. Nope, it took 2 years to get good at Tekken. And that was actually one of the most liberating sentences I ever heard. Because it made it like, oh, okay, it doesn't matter that I'm ass right now. I'll assess myself in 2 years. And lo and behold, actually, I went from knowing nothing about Tekken to being pretty decent at Tekken after 2 years. And it kind of taught me something that in reality I should have already known, and you should already know, which is that if you apply yourself to something for 2 years, you can actually become really good at it. Whether it's a language, whether it's a musical instrument, whether it's a new skill. Like, you might know nothing about, I don't know, coding or Japanese or salsa dancing, whatever. But if you decide now, I actually want to get really good at this thing, and you commit yourself wholly to it for 2 years, you can become really good at that thing. I'm not saying you're going to be a world beater. I'm not saying you're going to fucking, win the greatest championship in the world, but you can go from being nothing to being highly competent in anything, right? And so this really helped me. And so after I played Tekken, I was like, wow, I got really good at Tekken in 2 years. I should have probably used that same effort to learn something actually valuable. Lol. So then I set myself to learning Chinese, and I reached like a pretty proficient level. I can talk to people. I navigated my way through Taiwan for a whole year on my own. Like, you really can do it. And one of the things I've learned though, is that the process of learning Tekken and the process of learning a language are very, very similar, right? And while there isn't much information about how does one get better at Tekken, there is tons of information about how you get better at a language. And you would be surprised how much of it is applicable to Tekken. So I, as someone who has navigated both worlds now, I'm going to try and bring you lessons from the language learning world and the learning world in general to help you figure out how you can get better at Tekken. And I think the biggest concept is the idea of fluency. When people say they learn a language, they want to become fluent in the language, right? They want to become fluent. But here's the question. What is fluency, right? I didn't do the animations. I should have done the animation now that I think about it, but it's too late now. They're all here. What is fluency? Fluency is an intense familiarity with a language, such that you can decode and produce messages in it with minimal effort or strain, okay? This is key, right? The key word that I underlined there is familiarity. You are so familiar with the language that you don't have to think. What we are doing right now is proof of what I'm talking about. Each and every one of you listening to this video are translating the words that are coming out of my mouth at the fucking speed of light. You are doing it instantaneously, and you're not straining, you're not struggling, even with my bad microphone. You are doing it automatically. You literally can't not understand what I'm saying, even if you wanted to. That's how automatic it has become, okay? And automatic is the aim. Think about it when it comes to your combos. Combos are a good example of this. When you first, I don't care what character you pick, I don't care how easy or hard your character is. when you first picked up your character, you fucked up the combo. You fucked up the combo, right? You couldn't do the combo. Like, you know this. Everyone knows this. Whereas now, after X amount of months, you literally could probably do the combo with your eyes closed because you've done it so often. You now no longer have to tell yourself, okay, down forward two, back one, blah, blah, blah. You just say, do combo, and your brain do combo, right? That level of automatic is what we're trying to attain with as much of the game as humanly possible, right? But here's the thing. How do we attain? I still drop the combo sometimes. That's true. And I still drop my sentences sometimes, right? I stutter over words, right? And sometimes someone will say something to me, and I'll be like, what? And I won't understand you. Dropping combos is, you can still be automatic in something and still fuck it up sometimes. But the point is, you've reached the point now that when you fuck it up, or you should be reaching the point where when you fuck it up, it's more of a surprise that you fucked it up than it is like the norm. Do you know what I mean? And if you're not at that point yet, you will be if you keep practicing, right? So again, how do we reach that level of automation where things are automatic, right? It's not enough to just listen and play, right? For those of you trying to study Japanese, which I think many of you in the chat are saying, respectfully, watching anime or watching Japanese dramas is not enough, right? You can't just expose yourself to the raw language and just hope like it'll go into your brain like osmosis. It doesn't work like that. I'm sorry, it doesn't. No amount of watching anime is going to substitute actually practicing the language. Don't get me wrong, it helps. It helps as a supplement, but there's a lot of studying outside of actually just straight watching that will help, right? And so how do you actually become automatic at something? You already know the answer to this. Repetition is the only way, right? Just straight up repetition. The way you learned the alphabet was that you were told over and over again for an extended period of time as a youngster, A, B, 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 ba, ba, ba. And eventually you reach a point where I know what that is. And even when you're reading books, you would typically read books that have a small number of words. They didn't expose you to every word in the English fucking language, or French or Spanish or whatever. They exposed you to a small set of the words over and over again so that you got a grasp of those small words. Then you could introduce more and more things. What if I switch to watching JAVs? JAVs? P? It's your last warning. I will give your ass attention. Sit back down. Behave yourself. Okay? Anyway, right? Repetition is the key, right? Repetition is the key. Which is why I'm always telling people you have to do drills. And people are always arguing with me. Man, you don't need to do drills. You can just learn organically, bro. You can just learn organically. I'm like, bro, yes, you can learn organically to a point. And that's actually one of the things I want to explore here. Okay? The intermediate plateau. So, in language learning, there's a concept known as the intermediate plateau. And the intermediate plateau is it's a common term. Right now, you could type into, you could literally type into Google. You can type into Google or YouTube. You can just type in intermediate plateau and there'll be tons of information. What is the intermediate plateau? It is the plateau. It is the stage in your development that I think many of you are probably at. You are no longer a complete beginner, right? You have a grasp of, or you at least understand the basic rules, and you are doing what you're supposed to do. You're reading every day. You're listening every day. You're doing your flashcards, whatever. But you don't feel like you're making progress, right? You're doing everything you're meant to do. You're dedicating a chunk of your life, maybe 3-4 hours a day of your life. And then you sit down in front of your Japanese anime, or you sit down in front of your French news broadcast, or you sit down in front of your fucking Spanish telenovela, whatever, and you still don't fucking understand what's being said. And you cannot help but being frustrated. Because it's one thing if you're not trying, but you are trying. And it gets to your self-esteem. Am I stupid? Do I not have it in me? Like, it really gets to you, right? And this is very common. They have a name for it, the intermediate plateau. And by the way, this is a point where a lot of people quit. And what I'm about to say might throw you off as a teacher. You shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say this I'm just going to be real with you. You know me. I'm always going to be real with you. Okay. This is a point where maybe you should quit. Maybe you should. There's nothing wrong with that. Tekken's not the end of the world. You can quit. Can one drill too much? We can get there. Yeah, we can get there. You can drill too much. Definitely. There's a human limit. There's a limit to the heart, right? But like, Tekken's not the most important thing in the world, right? And neither is learning another language if you don't live in that country, right? But the problem with the intermediate plateau is that the things you did to improve are no longer sufficient, right? Back when you didn't know any French or any Japanese, you could do flashcards and learn 10 words a day and be like, yay, I'm learning and I'm making progress. Like, that is a fucking huge increase. Once the number of words you know exceeds 3,000, now simply reviewing the words you already know can take you up to an hour. So it'll take you hours, and you might not have enough time to keep adding new words. The point is, growth slows down and becomes more difficult and requires more effort for less immediate reward. And so again, this naturally affects your motivation. It naturally affects your motivation because you're like, man, I'm trying my hardest and I'm not seeing the progress. It's not translating to higher ranks. Again, we'll talk to the rank system. Definitely not helping that, but it's also not necessarily helping my win rate, which does matter. Win rate is a thing that you should be keeping track of. Like, I feel like I'm not making any effort. I can really get to you, right? In one of my other videos, I made a section called The Misadventures of Tricky Eileen. And boys and girls, let me tell you something. I continue to watch this show. It's probably my favorite Tekken stream. And we have entered a new chapter last week on Misadventures of Tricky Eileen, right? She had just reached what I call the Tekken King Chasm, and she was struggling, right? Because she had worked her fucking ass off to get to this level, and she was watching her rank all of a sudden go down, 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 down. She got pushed all the way down into the purple ranks. And it's disheartening, and it's like, wow, what's going on? It's just very frustrating, right? And she started to question whether or not she wanted to even play Xiaoyu anymore. Thankfully, she she took time off, which, again, good piece of advice. Take time off when the game starts to really frustrate you. And she went, you know what? I actually do like Xiaoyu. And even if I'm going to quit Xiaoyu, I'm going to reach my goal first and then quit Xiaoyu, just to prove I'm not being a bitch, which again, I really respect, right? So she's like, I've locked into my character. I've considered other characters, I've locked into my character. Now she's worked her way back up to Raijin. I think she's floating between Raijin and Fujin, 2.0 this time. But she's reached a new problem, which is why I've created a new slide. I call it Volume 2. Because she is, in my opinion, at a crossroads. She's at the Intermediate Plateau, and she's getting incredibly frustrated because she truly is just going up and down, up and down, up and down, Raijin, Fujin, Raijin, Fujin, Raijin, Fujin, Raijin, Fujin, and it sucks. No matter where you are, whether you're stuck, whether it's red ranks, purple ranks, blue ranks, gold ranks, that feeling of just going up and down, despite putting in the work is disheartening and frustrating, right? And the thing about Tricky is that she is an intelligent woman, and like a lot of intelligent people, she's very intellectually stubborn. Like, you can't tell her anything. And many people are like this, right? You can't tell her anything. Unless she becomes convinced that something is the right thing to do, she will not change her mind. And that's an attractive trait in like a thinker or an inventor or an entrepreneur. It's a good trait to have, right? But the problem is, I feel that she currently has an idea in her head that is wrong. And the idea is this. I and other people who are fans and have been fans from the start are like, look, this is the stage where you have to start going to the lab. You just have to sit down and start doing drills against specific characters. And she's like, that sounds not only boring and mind-numbing, but also, I don't believe that that's the most effective use of my time. I have finite time to play Tekken, right? This isn't my full-time job, right? And so, surely, the best way to improve at this game is to keep playing the game organically, learning, occasionally solving problems as I go, and also, if I need to learn specific matchups, get friends who are really advanced in those characters and play against them, right? Because the aspect of the game she wants to play is what I think she refers to as like real Tekken. And I refer to it as real Tekken, the mind game. We're reading one another. We're reacting to each other's choices. We're making good calls. You're not playing the character, you're playing the player, right? And the thing is, she's had a taste of that because just recently she played against like Inconsiderate Raccoon, who's like a really fucking OG ass Kazuya. Played against like a really top tier God Destruction Xiaoyu, played against God Destruction fucking Lily. So she's experienced what high level play is like, and she's like, even though she's losing, she gets rounds, she gets games. So it's like, this is what I want, this is what I want to get to. But what she doesn't realize yet is that you don't get to play real Tekken until you've solved bullshit, right? You don't get that. You can't skip bullshit Tekken to get to real Tekken. And it doesn't matter that you're able to play an interesting mind game with these gods of destruction, because the reason you're doing that is because these gods of destruction are respecting you. They're treating you they're treating you with respect, and they're using moves that aren't super exploitable. They're playing against you as if you were a god of destruction, right? And so, in a weird way, playing against a god of destruction Lily is not going to prepare you for dealing with a fucking Kishin Lily who is just going to flip at you. You know what I mean? Playing against a god of destruction Kazuya is not going to prepare you for dealing with a fucking just scrub ass Raijin Kazuya. It's just not. That's the weird paradox. So you might think, well, if I can hold my own against the god of destruction version of this, then surely I can handle these people at my level. No. No, you can't, because the people at your level are going to throw dumb bullshit at you because they know, or at least assume, that you cannot deal with it, and they're right. And they're right. And so the frustrating thing, the crossroads that she is at is like, look, if you do not, I think essentially one of the things, she didn't at least word it this way, but essentially she's like, are you trying to tell me that in order for me to get to the promised land of real Tekken, I have to lab every single character and like eliminate and like learn what they all do and learn defensive answer to all of them? That this game cannot possibly expect me to do that. And I am here to tell you, yes, it does. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the Intermediate Plateau. This is it. Like the game cannot possibly expect me to sit there for an hour labbing against Law, and then against Lars, and then against Alyssa, and then against Leia, and then against it. It can't possibly expect that from me. Yes, it can. Yes, it does. And you have to do that. Well, surely I don't have to do that. Surely I could just not do that. No, you can't. Dr. Lovebox, I'm glad you said that. I know GODs that don't lab or learn matchups. Okay, this is a very good point. Let me tell you something. There are people, how do I say this without sounding toxic? There are certain characters with whom if you create a powerful enough flowchart, you can power your way all the way up to the top. Okay? Truly. We know those characters. I'm not going to name them. You know who they are. Okay? That's not the same as actually being good at the game. It's not. And people who do that are one balance patch away from being Tekken King, right? We saw it with Assassinas. We saw it with Dragunovs. A lot of Dragunovs, despite being as strong as he is, got pushed right the way down. I foresee a lot of Alyssas, a lot of Victors, a lot of Kings, a lot of Xiaoyus, I foresee a lot of players of a lot of characters being one balance patch away from coming all the way down. You have to lab specific responses to specific things. And there's no, I keep saying this and people keep challenging me on it. And it's fine, you're right, I'm not a master, right? So you're fine to challenge me. But like, you're wrong though. Like, you're literally wrong. You will die in blue ranks, right? I don't care what the actual PNG says. You might actually go all the way to Tekken God with like flowcharty gimmicks. But you will die in blue ranks in terms of your skill level unless you sit your ass down and teach yourself the correct responses to the animations you're going to see. And you have to keep in mind, if you set yourself the goal of being good at Tekken, you're telling yourself that I want to be good at this game for the next 8 years. So it might seem like an intense time investment, but it's not. And not only are you trying to be good at this game for the next 8 years, you're trying to be good at Tekken for the rest of its life. There are strings that I can deal with in Tekken 8 because I learned to deal with them in Tekken 7. In Tekken 7! So this is the thing, it seems like a crazy investment. And again, this is one of those areas where I feel it's the same with languages, right? How do you become good at languages? Do you have any idea how many words the average language fucking has? How many rules and an exception to those rules they have? There's a lot. There's a fucking lot. And you just have to, at a certain point, you have to fucking study them. You have to study them. Like and you can't avoid it, right? And I think, and I understand, naturally, when you're language learning or Tekken learning, you want a shortcut. Surely I could just do this to get around them. Like, yes, there are things that are better and more efficient and less efficient. So I'm not saying that, yeah, just do whatever and you'll be fine. No, clearly, focusing on efficiency is a good thing to do. But she is convinced that sitting in a lab and teaching yourself to recognize animations and do the correct response to those animations is inefficient. And what I'm trying to say, both to her, but more importantly to you watching this at home, that is actually the most efficient. It is the most efficient. It might seem like it's the least efficient. I promise you it's the most efficient. Because let me give you an example. Let us say that the only way to learn to deal with this specific move, to learn to sidestep right the second you block this move, is to do it 100 times. Okay, let's say that's the number, 100 times. The sooner you get 100 reps of it, the sooner you get 100 reps of recognizing and differentiating this animation from other animations, the sooner it is now in your muscle memory. Now, you can either do that organically by playing and losing to laws over and over again over an extended period of time, or you could do it this fucking weekend. Do you get what I'm saying? You can stretch out this process. You are going to suffer, right? How long do you want to suffer? Do you want to suffer over an extended 4-month period where you're just blown up by this thing and then eventually in year 2 or year 3, season 3, you go, oh, I can do sidestep this? Or do you want to get it out the way now? Now. And again, I can't stress this enough. If you don't want to do this, that is fine. That is valid. It is a valid choice to decide it's not worth my time. This aim is asking too much. We've had, the Tekken community has many players dip in and leave. We had, what's his name? We had, Punk kind of came in for a bit. I was like, yo, this is too much work. I'm out. Fucking, Leffen came in for a bit. That was too much work. I'm out. We had fucking Forsen. Remember Forsen? 4-4 Forsen? Right? Back when he was playing Katarina. He's like, fuck this shit. I'm out. This is the point where they leave. Because they do all the beginner shit. It's like, look, if you really want to take the next level, you're going to have to sit here and do this shit. And it's like, I don't do this shit. Okay, I'm out. It's a valid choice. But like, this is the crossroads. This is the crossroads, right? This is the crossroads. No, to be fair, Sonic Fox did the work. Sonic Fox is a legit good Sonic player. He's a legit good Tekken player. He's done the work. He was willing to do the work, right? He's not like elite, but like he beat my ass. I'm pretty sure he beat my ass, right? He did it some time, right? Like this is the thing. This is the point where you step off. And like the point I'm trying to make to people is I think a lot of people are like they on some level they know the truth, but they want to deny it. Like there's no way that this fucking game expects me to learn everyone's fucking moves and shit. There's no way the game expects that of me. And I'm here to tell you, it fucking does, right? But, and I have evidence for that, but don't worry, I have hope, because you don't need to learn every single move, right? You don't need to learn every single move. The same way, by the way, spoilers, but you don't need to learn every single word in a language to become fluent in a language. No one knows every single word in any language, right? You just need to know enough. You just need to know enough, right? I'm going to give you an example, right? So if you check my YouTube channel, I made a video showing me labbing lore, right? Because I realized that even though I had labbed, I was very arrogant. I assumed that I had solved the lore problem in Tekken 7. Tekken 7, lore is always a problem in any game that he's in because he does a lot of fast shit and you have to learn to deal with it. And I suffered in Tekken 7 and I learned to deal with it. So I came to Tekken 8 being like, I don't have to worry about lore. I know lore. I know how he works. But it's not true. Lore is very different. And it was only after I got beat by like 4 laws in a row, I was like, fuck, I need to get off my high horse and fucking lab the character. And so I did. And I labbed the character's new moves and the stuff that leave them in DSS. I'm like, okay, I gotta see that, I gotta see that. If I see this, I gotta see this, right? I'm gonna show you an example of a match that I won with Law after the fact. My win rate post this session has actually been pretty good. I think I'm currently at, I'm basically currently at 100% so far. I mean, it's only been like 4 games or so. But like, years of academy training wasted. Well, not wasted, right? Because that stuff, it's insufficient, right? I still know how to the low power junkyard, for example. I still know a bunch of stuff, but I had to relearn a bunch of stuff. And also, I'm using Xiaoyu now. So even a lot of the stuff that I had in my muscle memory is incorrect with Xiaoyu because she moves differently. So I'm going to show you a video of a match that I won, and I'm going to show you the point that I won it, and hopefully, because it's very easy for me to sit here and just tell you things, but hopefully, when you see an actual concrete example of what I'm talking about, you will understand the veracity of the claim that I'm currently making, right? I will show you the points where I do a thing that I'm only doing because I've taught myself to do it in terms of muscle memory, right? I will show you. Assuming that my game doesn't fucking crash. All right, cool. Let's go.
Round 1. Fight.
Okay, regular Tekken so far. Xiaoyu shit, causing trouble, blah blah blah. Okay, That was incorrect. I need to punish that with minus 13. I know that now. So that was, I had Academy training weighted. But already, even with my labbing, I'm still not doing that properly. But I know what to do. Whereas previously, I wasn't sure how best to punish. Because if you look at the distance, right, I would try to punch with my 10 frame jab. And Xiaoyu's jab is shitty. Like, it's really shitty. But back 3, 1+2, 13 frame move actually tends to reach. So again, it's a very specific response that I've not yet internalized. But I at least know what I should do. Now, okay, stop. You see that? Those high kicks? Part of my training was teaching myself to duck and launch those kicks, right? This is important. This is an important aspect of the story. Keep fucking watching. That punish was brought to you by my recent labbing session. Genuinely, I wouldn't have punished that hard until I started doing the labbing thing, because I recognized every time you block that armored kick, you got to punish with minus 13. Not fucking jab, minus 13. And again, oh, Bernie's saying it perfectly. It frees up your mental space. I did that punish without thinking. It was, what's the word? Automatic, right? And it only became automatic because I sat down for 20 minutes a day for 3 days teaching myself what to do when I see certain animations, okay? Okay, Xiaoyu shit, right? Regular Xiaoyu shit. Won that round, right?
Round 2. Fight.
Okay, what should I do? We already know what I should do. I don't do it. Oh, I do it! Check it out! Again, I know some of you are rolling your eyes like, fuck it, I already knew that. But the point I'm trying to make is that I didn't know that until I labbed it. And even if you know a thing, you don't necessarily do it. Because again, it's not enough to know what the word means. You need to you need to know it so well that the second you hear it, your brain instantly translates it. Likewise, it's not enough to know what you should do with an animation. Just as your brain is automatically translating the words coming out of my mouth, your hands need to automatically be doing the thing you need to do when you block the animation. And you don't get there just by knowing it. You have to grind it into your muscle memory. Xiaoyu shit. That was incorrect. So I can sidestep that. I tried to sidestep it and it got caught. It got me caught. I lost. I didn't lose, but it got me blown up there. Low parry in Junkyard. I learned that in Tekken 7. Again, it's a thing that I've learned. So again, it wasn't all wasted, right? It wasn't all wasted. That's a Tekken 7. That string has been in Tekken since I don't even know how long. But apparently, if you're a Tekken player, you need to be low parrying that every time. And I learned. Again, make no mistake, I learned that over time. There's been plenty of times where I got hit by it. But again, low parry Junkyard, do it automatically. Okay.
Round
On the
3. Fight.
That's just reacting to the animation. That's fine. Ba 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 ba. That's minus 14. I know that now. Gotta deal with that shit. Okay, go ahead.
I'm a dragon.
He's a dragon. It's a one break. I was definitely practicing that because I got hit by that all the fucking time. The animation is fucking annoying. Lord, still a dragon. Got me. Okay, that low parry. Down forward 1-4, I think, or down forward 1-3. Many lore players will try to cheese you out at the end of a round with that string. I taught myself to deal with that. Now again, many veterans are like, I taught myself that in Tekken 7. I didn't. I had to teach myself that recently. Because again, I lost a lot of rounds with that. So when he knocked me down and I saw how little life I had, I was like, I had to load that into my brain immediately. Down forward 1, low kick. Be ready. I'm pretty sure I still lose though. Yeah, I still dropped it. Ooh, maybe I don't. Yeah, I lost. I'm pretty sure I could have maybe converted into Rage Art, but I don't know that combo because I'm trash.
Fight.
Okay, let me tell you something. Even if I had lost this match, I would have been so fucking proud of that moment. Again, let me toot my own horn for a second, because again, I cannot stress this enough. I spent 20 minutes a day, 3 days, labbing lore. So I was tired of losing to scrubby laws. Okay, this was a key one. You know how you can set the intervals, like how many times to do it? I made sure that they would do this 3 times more than everything else. So I was like, laws have been abusing me with this for years. So I'm like, I need to make it clear to them that they can't get away with this, right? Let me just see. Can I go back to the beginning? Can I go back to the beginning? Get fucked, boy. Get fucked, boy. Bop, 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 bop. Oh, fuck up the combo because I'm bad. Got him. We win. Okay?
You win.
Now, again, why am I showing this video? I'm not showing this video because I'm like, oh, aren't I amazing? I'm trash. The reason why I'm showing this video is because I genuinely believe in my heart of heart, if I didn't lab, I would have probably lost to a law like this. Because I've been losing to a lot of just stringy laws. I have a lot of them. A lot. And it's not because I'm bad at Tekken or I don't understand what's happening. It's because I didn't do the work. And these stringster characters, you got to do the work. You just have to. Right? And there's no getting around it. There's no like, elaborate movement option that you can teach yourself so that you don't have to have taught yourself the specific animation. You have to teach yourself the specific animations. When that high kick comes, duck and launch. When you block the fucking power crush mid, -13 punish. You've got to do it, right? And this is like my concrete example. And I love this because I literally posted a video last week of me labbing lore. So you can literally see the work paying off, right? But don't get me wrong, I can still absolutely get blown up by fucking God of Destruction laws, like top tier laws. But the point is, I don't have to worry about that until I can beat these kind of laws. You know what I mean? You gotta get there. Okay, so to go back to what I was saying earlier. Do you have to know every single fucking move in the game? No. Thank God. You don't need to know every single move in the game the same way that you don't need to know every single word in a language. You don't. Think, for example, about children. A 5-year-old German child is fluent in German, but they don't necessarily have the biggest vocabulary in the world. So how is that possible? How is it that you can be fluent in a language and not have the biggest vocabulary? Is there a way around it? The answer is yes, because the truth is, in order to learn a language and to be fluent in a language, you don't really need to have that big of vocabulary. What you need is to have a very strong grasp of the structures, right? And so I'm going to give you some examples from language and then help show you some in Tekken, right? So think about this. In English, if I want to know the location of an object, I would say where is or are, depending on the object, right? Where is my mother? Where are the bananas? Where is the bathroom, right? It's a very simple structure. Therefore, even if I don't know, let's say I don't know the English word for police station, I at least know where the word should go in the sentence. You know what I mean? Where is the blah, right? That is the key to fluency. You don't need to know every single word, but if you are familiar enough with the structure to know where the word ought to go, it can take you very far. And that's what children have, right? Children typically have some sense of the grammar. Now, here's the thing. Children will often make very interesting mistakes. So they might say like, where is the banana, right? And you're not meant to say is, you're meant to say are for plural, right? Where are the bananas? But say, where is the banana? But even when they make that mistake, they're actually showing a lot of intelligence because they are showing that they've internalized a version of the rule. That child, you might say, is a purple rank English speaker, okay? They have some sense of the rules. They have some sense. They're not completely ignorant, right? But it's not a sophisticated sense. They have not zoned in, right? And over time, your familiarity with the language needs to become more sophisticated and sharper. But it takes time to fill the pictures. You can't skip to being good part. You have to be bad first. You have to be clueless first, then bad, then higher. Another example. This is a key element, okay? I'm going to say a sentence. I want you to finish it for me in the chat. The more I play Tekken, what? The more I play Tekken, what? Give me your answers. Anything. Give me anything. Finish the sentence. The more I play Tekken, what? The more I play Tekken, blah. Right. Unfortunately, I should have hidden the extra answer, but you're all kind of proving my point, right? All of you followed a very similar structure. The more frustrated I get, the more I want to improve, the more I suck, the more I lose brain cells, the madder I get, right? This sentence structure, there's a rhythm to this structure, right? The more I blank, the more I blank. The more I blank, the less I blank. It's a comparative sentence structure, right? This, all of you did it, right? And this is a key, the more I want to commit war crimes. Relax, Hades, relax, all right? But like, the reason I'm using this example is because you are able to make accurate predictions precisely because you understand the structure of the sentence. I didn't tell you what my sentence was going to be, right? I didn't tell you, but you can make accurate predictions because you are familiar enough with the structure of what's happening, right? God, it's in a structure trap, but I'm just trying to highlight this thing because this is truly is a parallel, right? You don't need to know every single option in Lars DSS. You don't need to know every single option in Lars in Horang's right flamingo stance, but you do need to recognize when you're in it, right? You need to recognize the moves that transition you into it, and then once you recognize the moves that transition you into it, you can decide, okay, what is my character's best answer to it, right? This is the key that I'm trying to get to with this point. Your ability to make predictions improves when you are familiar enough with the overall situation. When you have been in it enough times, right? You have heard this sentence structure so many times that you knew damn well the second half of the sentence was going to be the angrier I get, the sadder I get, the more I want to commit war crime. You knew what the structure was going to, you could predict it. Think, again, you underestimate how amazing that is. There are so many words in the English language. How did you know, or more accurately, how did I know the pattern, the form that your responses were going to take? How did I know? Is it because I'm a genius? It's because I'm familiar with the structure, right? So again, you don't need to know every single move that every single character does, but you do need to be aware, oh, when Lars does this, he's in this stance. Cool. So when I see this animation, I should probably start moving in this direction. Or I should do, this is my answer to this stance. When Leroy does this, I'm in this situation, so I should probably do this, right? Understanding the general structure is key, and teaching yourself to recognize when you've been placed in it. When you can catch the first half, you can predict the second half. But a lot of the time, going back to what I said with my last week video about noticing things, a lot of times you don't realize you're in a situation until it's way too late, right? So you don't have to be good. You don't have to be a poet to be good, fluent in language. Exactly. You don't have to be a poet. You don't need to know every single word. You really don't have to, right? You really don't have to. You just need to be familiar enough with the structure of the language, right? There are certain sentences, right? The more I blank, the less I blank people, right? Okay, so yes, let me give you the Lars example. So this is what I'm working on now, because I'm terrible with Lars. I just kind of like push buttons randomly against Lars. Oh, it's saved. Cool. So what I'm teaching myself is that. You see that? That elbow? He's been getting away with that since the launch of this game. That elbow, I've not been dealing with that at all. I've not been dealing with that at all. That elbow. That's what I'm trying to teach myself to deal with. Again, I don't need to learn everything about the character, but I need to teach myself to deal with this elbow. Because they've been getting away with this mix for too fucking long. And it's a fake ass mix. But I've been holding because I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? I just been fucking, and then I don't realize I'm in the mix until about here. I don't realize until I see him crash. I'm, oh fuck, mid or low, right? I don't realize I'm in the mix until too late. Whereas in reality, I need to realize I'm in the mix here. I need to realize I'm in the mix right there, right? I need to realize I'm in the mix there. Because there are things I can do. If I only recognize the mix here, it's too late. It's too late. There's not really much I can do. All I can do is guess. And that happens a lot when you play against Lars. You don't realize you're in that mid-low situation. How fake is it? I'll show you how fake it is. If he goes for the low, -15 will catch it. But if he goes for the mid, he'll trade, right? But the point is, between these two options, oh fuck. Oh, get fucked. Oh, get fucked. Oh, get fucked. Oh, yeah. Oh, get fucked. Get fucked. Now, before anyone says it, oh, but he has a tracking high option. I know he has a tracking high option. I know, right? I'm not saying that this is the answer all the time. But you should have this answer in your back pocket. Because let me tell you something. Motherfuckers, even up to the gold ranks, are really just mixing up between these two options. Because you're just standing there like a dick. And only until you start forcing him to go for like the tracking options is he going to start having a hard time. I've just been not noticing I'm in this situation. Down forward one checks like 70% of his max. Yeah, true. You can stop it. You can stop it with a 13 frame move. Stop that. Right? Stop that. You can stop, or you can stop all options, right, with 13 frame moves. And of course, Xiaoyu even more so. 8 frame. But you know me, I want the juice. I want the damage. I want the juice. Yes, some characters can parry the mid, but that's still a mix-up. You're still guessing in the mid and the low. Why guess? If you can eliminate both? Right? Why guess? Why accept the parry if this is available? Right? If you can get damage, why not get damage? Why not get damage? Why not get damage? Why not get damage? Do you know what I mean? Like, why accept the parry? The parry's fine. I'm with you. But like, for me, the real options, the only problem is his aerial attacks. Yeah, sure, it's true. Again, my claim is not that this will solve all your problems, right? My claim is that you should at least be able to eliminate the two most common options. Let's be real. You've played against Lars. The majority of them are going for the mid and the low. If you can eliminate that and then force them to have to use, frankly, less rewarding options, that's a win in and of itself, right? So for me, the first time, round one, I see this, I want to do that. And only when they start mixing in the things that catch stepping will I then go to like back one, right? Then I'll be like, okay, cool. Stop, right? But I want to extract juice. Can you AOP the mix like all of life's problems? No, afraid not. Afraid you can't. Oh my god! Oh wait, but yeah, of course you can. If you can sidestep it, of course you can AOP it. Like that makes sense. Yeah, you can. I assumed the low would catch you, but actually, I assume. Yeah, by that point, you might as well just scoop. Right, you might as well just scoop. She's not cheating ass character. She's honest, bro. She's honest, bro. But again, you can sidestep it. Nah, never, bro. Look at you, mother. You can sidestep it. Why does everyone? But you're right. It does stop the high. You're right. It does stop the high. That is a very good point. So it does allow you to be like, fuck it. Fuck you, Lars. We're done. Can you hold on? Oh, okay, it's a bit tricky. Hold on. Okay, hold on. I want to see something. With the low, can I mistrust? Oh! This character's so cheap. Oh, fuck. But you see my point, though. First of all, this is low-key why I've enjoyed playing Xiaoyu. It's fun finding answers. This game is complete horseshit. Some of these mix-ups are complete horseshit. Finding answers to them is... it's the most fun I'm having, truly. But I digress. The point is... the point of this video is not to show how beautifully cheap AOP is. The point of this video is to show you that you need to learn to respond to that. That's the key. All of this stuff, AOP, sidestepping, none of it matters if you're not responding to that elbow. That's the key. And learning to respond to that elbow has to be done in the lab. You just have to do it. You have to teach yourself. And then I have other moves that I might teach myself to respond to. Hold on. Right? Like, again, this isn't be all options, but a lot of them will do that into while standing too. And so if you can learn to parry it as an option, just to have it in your back pocket, it can be useful. Of course, they have options that can blow this up, so you can't always do it, but having it as an option and at least being aware of the situation you are now in can be useful. And if you have a more powerful reversal, like someone like Asuka, even more recent, right? Even more reward. Or if you could like, yeah. I can't even get mad because that mix even exists. That's always been my point with Xiaoyu. I'm like, I AOP under tons of mixes, and I'm like, respectfully, this game is horseshit. That mix shouldn't exist, so I don't care. You've heard my diabolical justification for Xiaoyu Warcraft. I'm like, bro, that mix shouldn't exist. So fuck you and your mid. But yeah, I'm digressing. You hear my point. Point made. Let's move on. Yes, back to our regular schedule program. Okay, So this is a final point I want to make before ending our little lecture here. Languages do not have rules. We often talk a lot about grammar rules. Oh, you do this, you do this, you do this. But everyone in every single language knows that when the language is actually spoken, you break grammar rules all the time. In the however long I've been speaking to you guys for now, I've broken many grammar rules. But hopefully you still understand where I'm coming from. In fact, oftentimes our favorite speakers are speakers who break the rules in interesting ways. That makes them more interesting to listen to than if they just speak like a fucking AI robot, right? Like, so in a sense, languages don't have rules. That being said though, you know, I remember I got into many fights in my language school being like, hey, look, I know they have to teach them the proper way of speaking, and that is correct. It's useful to have a agreed upon standard. But at the same time, if these kids are going to actually be able to understand language, they have to understand the way that it's actually used as well. You can't just teach them the book. Like, yes, primarily the book, exclusively the book at first. But then also be like, hey, look, you might also encounter this other thing, right? And Tekken is very similar too. And this is actually, in many ways, a key point and maybe the most controversial point I'm going to make in this whole video. It's actually perfect now after what we see with Xiaoyu. People talk about Tekken as though there are rules. Like, this is Tekken, this is the way it's supposed to be played. And anyone who does anything outside of this is breaking the rule. But the problem is, that's not really how Tekken works. Turns, oh, it's also construct. Oh, how do I take my turn? Why is he mashing? It was my turn, right? Every time I hear people say this, I'm always like, it's kind of cringe. It's kind of cringe. People will talk about like, oh, it's my turn. Turns are social constructs. There's a great video by Rubbish, who makes incredible fighting game essays. Wild Kazuya players. Well, I wasn't gonna say it, but you know. But like, there was this. Rubbish. Despite the name, makes incredible fighting game essays, and one of them is called "Lies We Tell Children." And the reason it's called that is because when you're trying to teach children maths, you don't want to overwhelm them with everything. You tell them a little containing lie. You tell them like, oh, you can't subtract 3 from 2. You can't, right? Because it's too big. But of course, later on you go, psych, you can, minus numbers, bitches. But like, you don't want to introduce a small kid to the concept of minus numbers. So you introduce them to a small concept first, and then hopefully when they mature, you break them out of that minor illusion that we use to teach them the basics, right? And turns is one of those concepts. When you first learn Tekken, we learn the ideas of turns, right? You learn frame data, you learn turns. When you're minus, don't push buttons. When you're plus, push buttons, right? Like that, and that makes sense. It's a thing that we teach you when you're starting off because there's so much to learn. We give this concept. But if you are smart, if you are experienced, say it's not an intelligent thing, it's an experience thing, you realize that the concept of turns is ephemeral, doesn't really work like that, and that breaking these turns is like a key to getting one over on your opponent. Because if you just try to play frames Tekken, there are certain characters who will just beat you because they have better frames. That's like that. You can't play frames Tekken, you'll die, right? Why are you trying to talk like you're hold on, this would be good. Why are you trying to talk philosophical like you're the best player in your city, which you not, or like you won major? Turn our reference to advantage taking, slide it in your favor. Cringe, yo, John Smith. I don't know who the fuck you is, but I don't need to be the best in the world in order to say things that are true. And I'm better than a lot of people. And I'm here not to help JDCR, who doesn't need my help, but I'm here to help people who are trying to learn. But you know what, John Smith? Thank you for joining. You seem cool. You seem like a great guy. I'm guessing Kazuya player. Don't ask me why. Just guessing. But yeah, thank you for joining. Take a seat in the back of the class, right? But the point is, right, like a lot of people will treat turns internally. They act as though they are real things, but they're actually not. And the best example was actually, like I said earlier in the stream, I was watching the main man for the first time. I've never watched the main man streams. I've seen him on YouTube, but I've never seen him like, I've never watched it in live. And so he was playing against a Claudio player, right? And I have to admit, I actually got angry. So I actually really got angry because he was playing against a follower. Playing against a follower who I imagine was probably happy to play against the main man, right? And he lost, right? The Claudio player, who's playing Claudio, beat him, right? This is a key part of the story. Claudio player beat him. And, you know, the main man was like, oh, you know, yeah, you know, well played, but I mean, GG, but you play so scrubby, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, wow, that's kind of a salty thing to say to a follower. I guess maybe I feel differently if I was like as big as the main man and there are so many people fucking following, maybe I feel differently. But I was like, wow, that's kind of an asshole thing to say, especially someone who you lost to, makes you sound salty, right? And so he watched the replay, and the replay was the Claudio player did a move that left him, the Claudio player was here, the Brian player, he was playing, TMM was playing Brian, and he had his back to the wall, right? Brian's back was to the wall. And so the Claudio player did a move, right, that left Claudio -6. And then he assumed that the main man would try and take his frames back. And so he did like a evasive move that wall splatted the main man against the wall, and then he did a rage art and he won. I was like, fucking, that's a great move. That's a great choice. And it was like, oh, look at this, -6. So why would you do that there? So scrubby. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, main man, you've played Tekken longer than I have. Like, you know that like that's a valid choice. It's a risky choice, but it's a valid choice. And for like to win the round, especially if you think that the player is like more skilled than you, why would you kind of have to go for risky option? Like that's real Tekken. -6 into, I've watched pros do -6 into evasive move. And that's a real thing. That's a real thing. Like, and I was really getting I was really getting angry. Like again, because I'm like, why are you? Because again, it's not fair. I have respect for the main man because obviously he seems like a decent person. His attitude to Tekken gets on my nerves, but like, you know, he's been doing it for years. He's a husband, he's a father, like he seems like a decent bloke. Also, he's been on YouTube and doesn't have any allegations about fucking texting minors, which apparently is like a rare thing for like long-standing content creators. So, you know, I have respect for the man. But like that moment, that interaction really like made me kind of go, oh fuck, I'm not following this guy. That's kind of trash behavior. But it speaks to a common mindset among a lot of players where it's like, no. If I'm +6, your job is to do nothing. Like, if I'm +6, you should just sit there like a good boy and accept the mix-up I am now going to put you. And then when I am minus, I will sit here and allow you to do the mix-up to me. Like, what are you talking about? That's not Tekken, right? That's not... I couldn't believe that he was saying that. Like, it's really wild. And again, it reminds me of someone, again, to go back to the language analogy, it reminds me of someone who says that, how do I put this? It reminds me of someone who's like, let's say I said, hey, yo, that ain't no chicken, right? If I say to you, that ain't no chicken, if you're an intelligent person who understands the English language, you know that what I'm saying is that is not a chicken, right? I'm telling you that's not a chicken. But I feel like the main man in this analogy would be like, oh, actually, that's a double negative. Therefore, what you are saying is that it is, in fact, a chicken. And it's like, okay, technically speaking, I can understand how you'd come to that conclusion. But the problem is, that's not really the way the language is actually used. That might be how you think the language should be used. That might be how you want the language to be used. You might wish to live in a world where the language is only used this way. But you do not live in that world. You do not live in that world. You don't. So, and you don't have the authority to declare that the world should be like that. It's fine for you to say that I want the world to be like that. It's fine. But like, recognize that you are the odd one out. Do you know what I mean? You are creating this weird metagame, this safe bubble of the way that Tekken ought be played, and anyone who violates that is like breaking the rules. The rules don't exist. The rules don't exist. They don't. So that's why so many people hate fighting Xiaoyu, because they can disrespect other frames, and there are plenty of reasons why people hate playing Xiaoyu, including me. I get it, right? Don't get it twisted. But yeah, the fact that it happened even with Claudio made me go, oh, I can see now why you hate the characters that you hate. I can clearly see now why you hate the characters that you hate, right? And the rules that are supposedly being broken, right? Because you have not graduated from the lies we tell children about Tekken. Like, you still seem to think of it as a turn-based game, which even saying that doesn't seem right, because I know he's smart enough to know this is not a turn-based game. I've heard him give lectures similar to this, in even more detail, so he knows it's not intellectually, but I feel like emotionally, he feels like it ought to be. Right? And so it's like, but honestly, watching that one exchange helped me make sense of why he feels the way he does about the characters that he does. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. The rule-breaking characters truly are breaking this concept that you subscribe to and that your followers seem to subscribe to. And I also understand now why a lot of like other content creators like really don't like the main man's attitude. Like a lot of them like you'll often hear him like, ugh, like someone will post something like, oh, this is such a mashy game. And they're like, yo, take that to the main man stream. Like, take that salt elsewhere. Don't bring that shit here. And I've never understood where that comes from, because I only know YouTube main man, who seems pretty cool. Like, he gets salty about things, but we all do, right? Whereas, like, watching him on stream, I was like, oh, fuck, that's wild, right? Doesn't main man hate Ling with a passion? Bro, he hates Ling with a passion. And I'm glad you said that, because I want to show you something. So, for the past 2 days, the main man, again, I've been talking a lot of shit about it, but actually, for the past 2 days, he's actually done something really cool. He's been labbing who he calls bullshit characters, right? And don't get me wrong, they have a lot of bullshit. But then again, everyone has bullshit in this game, right? But he's been labbing them. And it's been really great watching him lab them and like, and learn the matchups. I want to show you something that really made me smile, right? I want to show you something. You're gonna love this. I made a clip, right? Don't look at the name, right? Don't look at the name of the clip. I want to show you something. It made me so fucking happy. Get ready. Okay, are you ready for this? You get ready for this? Check this clip. Check this clip, bro. Check this. It's so good. It's so fucking good. Right? Watch this. So, for context, he's been labbing bullshit characters, including Ling, especially Ling. And he's also been getting players in his followers who know how to play the characters to help him lab the matchup. This is a very good thing to do. It's very mature, right? I like this, right? Watch this. Listen to this admission. Listen very closely. I want to know if you hear it. Get ready.
Labbing paying off for sure. But to be honest, I should have done this a long time ago.
Did you catch it? Did you catch it? Did you catch it? I'll play it again. Once I heard it, I was like, oh, let me catch that real quick. I don't know if you heard it. I don't know if you guys heard it.
Labbing paying off for sure. But to be honest, I should have done this a long time ago.
I was like, you know what? I respect it. Maturity.exe kicking in, right? Ling's been into CT3. I'm surprised he didn't lap her sooner. No, that's not what happened. Here's the thing. I'm not shitting on the main man because he did the exact same thing that I did. Remember what I said about law? I assumed that I had already solved the law problem because I did in Tekken 7. I knew how to deal with Tekken 7 law. So I assumed I had already solved the problem. And so when Law started beating me in this game, I was like, well, because he's brain dead. Because he's going to give him brain dead stuff. But I didn't actually lab the character. And don't get twisted, Ling Xiaoyu is fucking brain dead. Please don't come away from the video thinking that I'm downplaying Xiaoyu. She's fucking brain dead. She's fucking brain dead. This character has some of the most degenerate Tekken tools I've ever seen. Do not get it twisted, right? Please don't think that I'm being like, oh yeah, Ling Xiaoyu is playing Honest Tekken. No one's playing Honest Tekken, and there are a few characters in this game more scummy than Ling. Do not get it twisted. That's why I'm playing her, right? I came to terms with the fact that Tekken is not honest anymore. I accepted that, and I recommend you do too. That's a separate conversation, okay? The point I'm trying to make here is, like, this is the game that you're playing now. So you have to lab this shit, right? You have to deal with it, right? Okay, you don't like the character. I'm never gonna try and sell you on the character. If you don't like the character, you don't like the character. That's fine. There's plenty of characters I don't like, right? But the point is, you gotta lab that shit. You gotta lab it, and the rules that you have in your head about the way the world and the way that the game should work are secondary to the way the game actually does work, right? And so this is actually going to my final point about language learning, right? There are words as they are meant to be, the meaning that they're meant to have, and then there's the meaning that they actually do. And you need to learn the difference, right? So for example, in the English language, we have the word decimate. And the actual definition of to decimate is to reduce by 10%. So if you had 100 troops and you lost 10 of them, your formation has been decimated. But that's not how we actually use the term. We use the term decimate to mean reduced to 10%. So it actually means you had 100 and now you only have 10, right? Right? This is a key element that we need to know about, okay? Now, here's the point I'm trying to make. If someone says our forces were decimated, and you take that to mean, oh, it was reduced by 10%, you might say, well, I'm correct and the speaker is wrong. And I can understand why you might think that. In fact, there's probably some data to support you. You might go into the dictionary and be like, hey, look, the dictionary says decimate, right? It's reduced by 10%. But if you actually live in the real world with human beings and communicate in the English language, then you know damn well that if someone says that our forces were decimated, they mean reduced to 10%. And even then, it's not literally 10%. It's just an expression that we use. They've been decimated. They've been reduced to a fraction of their former size. That's the point I'm trying to get to here. Like, you are not an intelligent is not the right word. We overuse the word intelligent. You're not a wise person if you are unable to recognize what the word decimate actually means in the modern vernacular. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when people try to, if someone says, yo, that's gay, and then someone goes, hey, that's kind of inappropriate, you can't be saying that. And then someone goes, nah, man, gay just means happy, bro. Why are you being so sensitive? It's like, bro, don't be dumb. You know damn well that the term gay does not mean happy anymore, and it has not since the fucking 50s. Don't get twisted, right? Like, let's be real about it. Like, if you're gonna say it with your chest, right? But like, don't play these shell games with the language. You know damn well what these words mean, right? And this is and again, Tekken is very similar. You might have this conception about the way Tekken ought to be played, right? And you might have these conceptions about the way you want it to be played. But like, wisdom is recognizing the way that it actually is. Do you know what I mean? Language constantly changes. And I guess Tekken, fucking Teho, why are you stealing my punch? That was what I was going to say. That was the point. This is the final slide. Language constantly changes. And Tekken can too. And Tekken has. To bring it back to actual Tekken play and how you can use this, one of the things you often do need to learn isn't just moves with key, actual transitions into stances, but also recognizing how moves get set up. I'm going to show you one final example that I have learned the hard way to deal with. It's a small one, but it's pretty key. Okay, so everyone knows about running 2, right? Everyone knows about that. So very often at like blue lengths, when I see a Claudio here, I'm just like, I'm ready. And the second I see that forward, I'm looking at these motherfucking feet. I'm looking at these shoes, man. I'm looking at those specs. And the second I see them move forward, get fucked, boy, right? I'm doing it. Now, blue rank players and like, let's say Kishin and above, they'll recognize that. So they'll often try and catch you with forward, forward, 3, right? And so this is a very common flowchart. Oh, sorry, forward, forward, 4, sorry. They'll often try and catch you with that, right? And that's a really good fucking flowchart. It's really fucking good. Because it'll beat a lot of things. Whoa. Whoa. Okay, it won't beat that, lol. It'll beat a lot of stuff. It'll beat a lot of stuff. Won't beat that though, didn't know. Right? So it'll beat a lot of things, right? Right? So the point is, so now I've taught myself that a lot of the times, when I block this move, I will just speculatively do this. Not AOP! Not everything is answered by AOP. I will speculatively do attacking move, right? Yeah. It's -1. Yeah, it's -1. Because I've seen it a lot. I've seen it enough times. I've seen it a bunch. I've seen it a bunch. People do this all the time, right? Now here's the thing. How did I learn that? I learned that because I lost to a lot of Claudios and I studied the replays. I'm like, oh, this happens all the fucking time. These motherfuckers out here just doing this into Sidestep. And so it's a useful thing to have in your back of your mind that like, not only do I need to watch out for the running 2, if he instead goes for the running, if he goes for the forward, forward, 4, a Sidestep is highly likely. A Sidestep is highly likely. So don't fall for the common setups, right? Yeah. Oh, sorry, I was wrong. This is the last slide. Lol. Yes, I'm going to speed through this because this is already taking longer than I thought. One thing, fluency is not a binary state. You don't go from being not fluent to being fluent. That's not how it works. You go from being shitty in the language to being slightly less shitty in the language over time. And then before you know it, you're like, wow, I'm actually pretty good at the language. Tekken is the same, okay? Tekken is the same. We are all bad at Tekken. I've said this before. My genuine belief is that everyone who plays Tekken is bad at Tekken, including Arthur and Ash. Arthur and Ash, however, is just less bad than the rest of us, right? It is useful to have this attitude. Everyone is bad at Tekken. We're all just, the pros are just less bad than us. And so your goal is just to get less bad over time. And the same is true with fluency in the language. You just become more competent over time. another thing, and this is one of my classic Chad philosophies, the point of fluency is to communicate. And I think that the important thing with Tekken is to play with other people, which is why I get so annoyed with Tekken players who are good at Tekken and then bad with people. Treat each other with respect. Like, I'm tired of saying this. Like, you just gotta treat each other with respect. Even now, I've criticized, like, you know, the main man's attitude to Tekken, but like, I can't stress this enough. I have tremendous respect for him as a man. Like, again, father, husband, committed to Tekken over 10 years. He's done more for the Tekken community than I have, and I probably ever will. Like, I have tons of respect for him. And so it's very important that even if we disagree with what someone is saying, even if we disagree with someone's takes on a character, be respectful to the people who have committed themselves to this game. I think this is key. It's fucking key, right? Like, you just have to. And I really have no time. Part of the reason, by the way, people have said that you should start a Discord. And part of the reason I didn't want to start a Discord is because if you start a Discord, you have to regulate it. And this is going to make me sound elitist. I don't want every Tekken player in the Discord, because there are a lot of Tekken players who just don't know how to act right. They just don't. And so you need a vetting process. And at that point, it's like I have a members club. Are you cool? You can come in. Let me see your shoes. You can't come in. All right? And it sounds like a lot. It's a lot of work. It's easy to make a Discord. It's hard to make a Discord that isn't toxic as fuck. Do you know what I mean? It's hard as fuck. That's the thing. And so I'm in the process of trying to think about how it work and how I would make it happen. I do want to make it happen. But what a phantom. But again, this is kind of where my head is at. But again, I want to stress this enough. The way you treat people and the way you talk to people and about people really matters. We have to show respect. We can disagree with each other respectfully. And I think far too many people in the Tekken community have gotten far too comfortable with just shitting on humans, just shitting on people. I'm like, again, it's bigger than Tekken, but it's just something that gets to me, and I wish we had more, especially the sort of the elders in our community took that aspect of the game more seriously. That's how I feel. But yeah, I just want to make that clear. Purpose of language and purpose of Tekken is to communicate with each other and to play and have fun. And I just we need to recognize that, because if you're good at Tekken and you're bad with people and you're a shitty person, you're shitty. Your net's shitty. I just want that to become a default expression. In fact, one of the things I'm really enjoying is just increasingly over time, and I don't think I've had any influence on this, and if I have, I'd be very proud, but I've seen a lot of people like shitting on arrogant posts from people. Like it's become very fashionable to, like, someone will post a meme like, oh, these are carried characters, and then people will be like, ugh, look at this typical Kazuya player. Like people are like we have less time for that salt than we do for anything else. I'm enjoying this shift that I'm seeing happen. But yeah, last but not least, you know this was coming. You knew this was coming. Wait a minute. Actually, I need to do this. This is very important. This is very fucking important. Give me a second. Give me a second. This is key. Okay. Can you see me? All right, cool. Watch your fucking replays. Yes, you. Watch your fucking... I told you last week that if it's been over a week since you last watched your replay, you better start watching it. Have you watched your replay since the last video? The truth. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. If not, you know what to do after this. Go watch your replays. Because I said it before, and I'll say it again. There is no video on YouTube. There's no PDF. There's no secret Discord thing that will do more for you, that has more data relevant to you than your own fucking replays. This is your weekly reminder. Watch the fucking replays. All right, I'm done. This has been Chad the Third. Hopefully, at least some of the information in this video has been useful to you. And yeah, that's all I have to say. So until next time, peace.